The last recorded sighting of 15-year-old Paige Doherty alive flickered across a grainy CCTV screen. A fleeting moment of a vibrant girl with dreams in her eyes, unknowingly stepping into a nightmare that would unravel into one of the most chilling cases imaginable. That glimpse marked the beginning of an investigation so harrowing it would grip a small Scottish community in terror, their collective hearts pounding with dread. Just 2 days after her abduction on March 19, 2016, Paige's body was discovered in a wooded patch near Glasgow's Great Western Road, mutilated with roughly 150 stab wounds. But the horror didn't stop with her lifeless form. What followed, a shadowy figure caught on camera, a cryptic Facebook post, and a bizarre scene involving a child wielding a knife, unveiled a darkness so profound it left even seasoned investigators trembling, their adrenaline surging as they pieced together a crime that defied comprehension. Let's step back to March 18, 2016, a night that began with innocent joy. Paige was at her friend Lawrence's house in Clydebank for a sleepover, their laughter echoing through the room as they gave each other makeovers. Imagine the scene. Paige, with her infectious smile and deep love for fashion, hair, and makeup, brushing glitter across Lawrence's cheeks while her heart fluttered with excitement, an autonomic response of pure happiness, her body releasing dopamine as they dreamed of the future. She longed to own a beauty salon someday, a goal she was already chasing with her part-time job as a hairdresser. Her muscles relaxed, her breathing steady. She had no inkling this would be her last night of peace, her last chance to feel the warmth of friendship before her body would be thrust into a fight for survival. The next morning, March 19th, Paige's mother, Pamela Monroe, tried calling her. No answer. Paige had forgotten her charger at home, a small oversight Pamela brushed off. Her phone must have died, she thought. But as the hours ticked by, unease crept in, her gut tightening with a primal instinct. Then came the call that stopped her heart. Paige's boyfriend, Dylan, said she hadn't shown up for work. He couldn't reach her either, which was strange. Paige was meticulous about keeping in touch. Pamela's chest constricted, her pulse quickening as cortisol flooded her bloodstream, her body screaming that something was terribly wrong. She rallied friends, family, and police, desperation driving her every move. The police launched an investigation, diving into Paige's world. She was outgoing, gregarious, a girl whose energy could light up any room. She lived with her mom, stepfather, and siblings in Clydebank, maintaining a tight bond with her biological father and a circle of friends who shared her passion for beauty. Her family described her as a social butterfly, always snapping selfies for her active social media accounts, her fingers dancing across her phone as she envisioned a future filled with hair dryers and makeup brushes. When she vanished, Pamela and Paige's loved ones set up a Facebook page, pleading for information, their hearts racing with hope and fear. Meanwhile, police combed the area around Lawrence's house, their boots crunching through grass and gravel, searching for any sign of the missing teen. She was nowhere to be found, a ghost in her own life. Then, on March 21st, two pedestrians stumbled upon a sight that shattered all hope. Paige's body lay in a dense wooded area near Glasgow's access lane, bruised and wrapped in plastic waste bags. The scene was grotesque. Her small frame bore the marks of unimaginable violence. Forensic experts counted approximately 150 stab wounds, a staggering tally that spoke of a frenzied attack.
43 of them, which were stab wounds, were to basically the head and neck area. The significant injury to that body was to the left-hand side of the neck. And beyond the stab wounds, there were approximately above 80, I think it was 85 incised wounds, which we would call a slashing movement.
Her heart rate soaring past 180 beats per minute, her lungs gasping for air as she battled her attacker. Paige didn't surrender easily. Her body's fight-or-flight response kicked into overdrive, a testament to the human spirit's will to survive even in its final moments. The autopsy confirmed no sexual assault, ruling out one horror but amplifying another. This was pure, unadulterated rage. The sheer number of wounds suggested an attacker whose own physiology had spiraled out of control. Pupils dilated, muscles tensed, a flood of norepinephrine fueling a brutal onslaught. Forensic professionals, accustomed to grim scenes, were shaken by the ferocity. Paige hadn't been killed there. Her body was dumped, the plastic bags a clumsy attempt to conceal the crime. This wasn't just a missing person case anymore. It was a manhunt for a killer whose hatred posed a threat to society itself. The community's nervous systems went haywire, sleepless nights and racing pulses becoming the norm as fear took root. A lead emerged from an unexpected corner. Social media. A 17-year-old Glasgow boy posted something chilling, tagging Paige's profile. He claimed he'd killed her, even uploading a photo of himself licking what looked like blood off a knife. A macabre boast that sent detectives' hearts pounding. Could it be this simple? They raced to question him, their bodies tense with anticipation. But it was a cruel hoax. The teen admitted it was a twisted prank, a bid for attention that left Paige's family reeling and investigators back at square one. He faced repercussions, but the real killer remained at large, a phantom lurking in the shadows. Police turned to Paige's routines, mapping her life for clues. She worked part-time at a hairdresser's in Clydebank, commuting by bus. Before boarding, she often stopped at the 22 Fleming Avenue Market for a snack. Shopkeeper Ashi Ahmed knew her well. She'd wave goodbye with a smile, her body language relaxed and cheerful. On March 19th, he saw her do just that after grabbing a bread roll from Delicious Deli, owned by John Leem, a few doors down. CCTV from Ahmed's shop captured her at 9:21 a.m., walking into the deli, her steps light, her mind likely on the day ahead. But here's the twist that made investigators' blood run cold. She never came out. Suspicion locked onto John Leem. The footage showed him moving in and out of his deli that morning. At 9:27 a.m., nearly an hour after Paige entered, he parked his car outside. At 9:58, he popped into a nearby shop, returning minutes later. By 10:03, he was back outside, placing something in his trunk, his movements deliberate, his demeanor oddly calm. The deli stayed shuttered all morning, unusual for a busy Saturday. A neighboring hairdresser, curious, peeked through the closed shutters and asked if something was wrong. John brushed it off. His worker hadn't shown up, and he'd had a nosebleed, he said, as if it explained everything. He drove off at 11:59 a.m., returning at 6:04 p.m. in fresh clothes, reopening as if nothing had happened. Detectives' pulses quickened. Something didn't add up. On March the 23rd, forensics swept the deli, but the place was pristine. No blood, no chaos. It was too clean. Their instincts screamed. They hauled John in for questioning on March 24th, their voices steady but their adrenaline pumping. "She went into your shop and never came out," they pressed. "You're the only one who can tell us what happened." John denied it all, his voice flat, his confidence unshaken. "Find anything in my deli?" he challenged. The forensic team hadn't, not yet. Then came the breakthrough. Ashi Ahmed revealed John had bought gloves, bleach, bin bags, and cleaning supplies from his shop that day. John's car and deli sparkled with recent scrubbing, and his vehicle was later spotted near where Paige's body was found. That was enough. A second forensic sweep dug deeper, under the floorboards. There, between the wooden slats, they found it. Bloodstains, Paige's DNA seeping into the grain. Traces lingered on appliances, too, hinting at a larger mess meticulously erased. Her death had unfolded there, her body overwhelmed by shock and blood loss as her attacker's rage consumed them both. John Liam was arrested on March 26th, charged with murder. The community reeled. How could this quiet deli owner, a married man with 2 kids, harbor such violence? On September 5th, he confessed, but his motive defied belief. He claimed Paige came in asking for a job. When he refused, citing her age and the need to speak to her mom, she allegedly threatened to accuse him of misconduct. Panicked, John said he snapped. His twin brother had faced similar allegations, and the shame had destroyed him. John couldn't risk that fate. Couldn't imagine his heart racing with disgrace or his name on a sex offender list. So he killed her, stabbing her over and over as his own body surged with panic and fury. He stored her body in his garden shed, then dumped it later, after jetting off to the Bahamas with his family the next day, his pulse steadying as he played the part of a carefree husband. But the story felt off. Paige loved her hairdressing gig. Why would she beg for a deli job? Was John lying, masking a darker truth? Only he and Paige knew what transpired in those final moments, one voice silenced, the other twisting the narrative. On October 12, 2016, John pleaded guilty at Glasgow's High Court. The judge called it a brutal and furious attack, incomprehensible from a man with no criminal history, no mental illness, just raw, explosive rage. He got 27 years, later reduced to 23 after an appeal. His family fled threats to burn their home, while Paige's loved ones grappled with grief. Her father died 2 years later, his mother saying his heart gave out, literally broken, his body unable to bear the loss. Paige Doherty's story is a tragedy of shattered dreams and unleashed violence. Her body fought to the end, her physiology a map of courage and despair. What do you think? Was John's motive genuine, or does a deeper, uglier truth lurk beneath?